You decide to purchase a house that costs $150,000. You plan to put down 20% and finance the rest at a 4.25% annual interest rate compounded monthly for 30 years. We're not going to get into all of the nitty-gritty stuff with home ownership because there's a lot going on there. So this is a very basic example. So we do not talk about closing costs. We do not talk about PMI. We do not talk about those neighbors that play the music really, really loud and you want them to go away. None of that stuff. So there's that very basic example. Now, if you do have a house, you should be aware that interest rates are that low, 4.25%. My neighbors just got locked into a 3.875, which is amazing. I actually offered my firstborn child to the bank to give me that loan rate. Yes, so now I just have to steal a baby. So anyways, part A. How much is the down payment in terms of dollars? Down payment means how much you're going to give the bank right up front, right off the principal. So they like a 20% down payment. However, not a lot of people have 20%. So then the government says, well, now you have to pay this fee called PMI, and it doesn't go away until you get your 20%. Yay, home ownership. But I'm going to assume we have 20%. So to compute part A, how much is it in terms of dollars? You're going to say 0.20 for 20% times 150,000. What is 20% of 150,000? 30,000. So on the day of your closing, among other amounts of money, you're going to bring them $30,000. And that goes right on the principal of the loan. Whatever is left over is part B, the amount to be financed. So this is how much you're actually taking your loan out for. So the house cost down $30,000. So how much money do you have to borrow from the account or from the bank? $120,000. So our goal in part C is to figure out how much we need to pay every month so that we pay off this $120,000 in 30 years at that interest rate. Since we want the balance to go to $0, what formula is it going to be? Amortization. Look right here. Oh my gosh. It's been staring at us in the face. So here we go. PMT is equal to the present value of the account, $120,000, times, what's the setup? What's our I? Good. Raised to the negative. We're doing this 12 times a year for 30 years. So negative 360. Okay. Feel free to do it in one fell swoop or use your TVM solver. What did you get? Yep. $590? Okay. All right. Please read D carefully. How much was paid in interest? Don't read it as using the I equals PRT formula. This is not a simple interest problem. We're far from that. However, there's two ways I could ask D. I could say how much total was paid for the house, which we could also compute. But here I'm just saying how much was paid in interest. You do not pay interest on the down payment. So this $30,000 has nothing to do with it. You only pay interest on how much you finance, $120,000. So we're paying $590.33. We're paying $590.33 12 times a year for 30 years. So we're paying $590.33 12 times a year for 30 years, but we took out a loan of $120,000. So the difference of the two is $92,518.80. So you paid the bank $92,518.80 just for use of their money. Here's the deal.
30 years, you might hope your house, $150,000 house is worth $200,000.
Right, except for right now. Yeah. So now is a great time to buy. So everyone go buy 3 houses this weekend. Let me know how it goes. Honestly, this could have been a lot worse. If the interest rates were back what they were around the 6%, you could have bought the same house twice. So if it was at 6, you would have spent nearly $150,000 in interest. So there's that. Now, again, we're not going to get into the nitty-gritties, but I will tell you there are things you can do to make your life a little bit easier. If you put an extra amount of money on the account every month, that'll shorten how long it takes. Also, my house mortgage is set up where I pay a monthly rate, but I split it into 2 payments. I do biweekly payments. So that cuts down the interest, and it also cuts down by 2 to 5 years. Yeah. So, but you have to find a bank that allows you to do that. That's the only trick. So if you get a little more accustomed to your TVM solver, sit with it and play for a while to figure out, okay, if I pay this amount monthly, now how much am I going to pay in interest? Things like that. It'll do it really quick for you.
How would you?
The thing is, you get charged, so like that happened with the refi. You get fined if you pay it off early, if you pay it off within 3 years. Now, I'm not able to pay off my house within 3 years, so I don't have to worry about that. But there are certain things like some car loans where if you pay it off early, you get fined. Like my current car loan, for whatever reason, if I pay it off within the last 6 months early, I get charged a fine. But if I pay it off before 6 months are up, then it's okay. I don't make the rules. Yeah. So real quick, just to show you what I'm saying here. So for this one, we had 360. Our interest rate was 4.25. And our present value is 120,000. I'm going to make these both 12. So when I do the alpha solve here, we should get the 590.33, which we do after rounding. But now let's say, okay, you know what? I can afford more than 590. I can actually afford 700. So I'm going to make this negative 700. I'm going to keep everything else the same. But now let's go up to my n and solve for that. So right now that says 30 years. But if I'm able to pay 700 a month, I cut it down to how many years now? What's 264 divided by 12? 22. So I just lost 8 years on my 30-year loan just by putting an extra $110 a month on the account. And then you can also compute now, well, how much interest did I save? So if we do 700 times 264, I got 184,800. So if I did 180, so let me show you on the calculator. So 264 was it? So I made a payment of $700 264 times. And then if I take off the amount of the loan, I only paid $64,000 in interest, which means I saved $30,000 in interest just by putting an extra $100, $110 a month for 22 years instead of 30 years.